On today's episode,
Asia very much is like Europe because it's very fragmented. Every country has its own language, its own festivals, its own marketing strategy. So there is no one Asia strategy, but rather you need to understand each country very well. So our philosophy is we need to globalize our business, meaning that we have a global vision that has a very down-to-earth localized team for each of the Asia countries.
welcome to SuiteTalk, an active share series that taps into the minds of top business leaders. I'm your host, Hugo Scott Gall. Today on SuiteTalk, I'm thrilled to welcome Jane Sun, CEO and board member of Trip.com Group. Since joining in 2005, Jane has held key leadership roles before becoming CEO in 2016, helping shape the company into a global travel powerhouse. She's been recognized multiple times by Fortune and Forbes as one of the world's most powerful women in business. She has studied at the universities of Florida, Peking, and also Stanford. And somehow she still finds time to run marathons. Jane, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Great. Well, let's get going. So if we could talk just a little bit about your, I think, fairly extraordinary journey. You've spanned law, finance, Silicon Valley before eventually leading Trip.com Group. How did those differing experiences shape your leadership style today?
Yeah, I think every step I made laid out a very good foundation for my career path going forward. I started as a CPA with a law degree. And then when I joined Trip.com as the first CFO in the Asian market, the company was very small. The market cap was only 500 million to 1 billion. Now it's more than 40 billion. So over the past 20 years, our company has grown 40x in the past 20 years. And I always feel very blessed for the opportunity. When I first came, we were so small that very few investors understand what we did. And very quickly, we need to work very hard to let our investor knows what we do. So I normally have earnings call near the airport. After the earnings call, I will jump on the plane, flew into San Francisco, take a shower, and then one day roadshow and take a red-eye flight to Boston the very next day and land in Boston, take a shower, and one day roadshow again in Boston, and then move on to New York and Europe. So through the hard work in the first couple of years, we built a very strong understanding with our investors base to let them know what we do, what we did well. So very quickly, our company win investors' respect and was selected as the most respected company in Asian market. And we didn't stop there. Our operation grew rapidly. And I was not only taking care of the IR, finance, legal, all these traditional CFO role, but I was also taking a lot of care of our operations. So our board gradually wanted me to take on a COO's responsibility. And then after a couple of years, we realized our GDP per capita was increasing quite a lot for our customers. So I traveled quite a lot, leading our team to negotiate global inventory. So I was again promoted to be the co-president of the company. And in 2016, I took on the CEO's position. So throughout this journey, so many challenges has presented to us. Yet we always work very hard to overcome the challenges and turn the crisis into opportunities.
You were well established in Silicon Valley, and Silicon Valley is obviously a huge growth hub and extremely dynamic, but you decided to return to Asia. How much was it driven by the desire to return back home, and how much was it driven by the opportunity you saw at Trip.com Group?
When I work and live in the Silicon Valley, we almost spent 15 to 20 years there. Both of my children were born in the Silicon Valley. So we're very blessed for the opportunity when internet took place. But in 2005, I asked myself three questions. The first question is, what continent will generate the highest growth of the GDP. And Asia at that time is growing very fast. The second question I ask myself is that which industry you want to be in. And some industry have very high margin, but I just feel that I should work in an industry that's fast growing and it's a green industry and bring happiness to the customers. And I enjoy travel. So I feel travel industry is something I would enjoy for a long time. And the third question I ask is that if you want to be in Asia, in the travel industry, which company will have the best opportunity to win? And after I talked to our team, I believe Trip.com team is very humble, very hardworking. It can contribute quite a lot to take good care of its customers and its partners and has a very good chance to win. So after I asked myself three questions, I made a decision to join Trip.com as the first female CFO in the market.
So you mentioned their growth, but the growth of Trip.com Group has been outstanding. So when you think about long-term growth ambitions and market share, how do you think about that? Do you restrict yourself just to some markets, or do you just view the whole world as an opportunity? That's the addressable market.
I think in the next 3 to 5 years, if we work very hard, if our vision is right, we should be able to become a leading player from Asia to Asia, and within Asia, we should be a leading player here.
And when you do your analysis, do you assume that Asia, particularly China, will look like places like the US or Europe in terms of travel habits, spend on travel as a share of consumption? Do you assume that actually, when you look at more mature markets, that's going to repeat in Asia, or are there meaningful differences in Asia that perhaps mean a different type of growth or a different trajectory?
Asia very much is like Europe because it's very fragmented. Every country has its own language, its own festivals, its own marketing strategy. So there is no one Asia strategy, but rather you need to understand each countries very well. So our philosophy is we need to globalize our business, meaning that we have a global vision that has a very down-to-earth localized team for each of the Asia countries.
So when you think about an online travel agency, what are the key competitive advantages? Why does a customer go one way versus another?
Yeah, compared to the other player, we have a couple of unique characteristics. The first one is we offer one-stop shopping platform. So for example, if a customer make a reservation to fly from Singapore to UK by taking a first class and business class flight, we will recommend a 5-star hotel such as a Four Seasons hotel to him or her. After he or she lands in London, we'll recommend nice restaurants near the hotel. We'll recommend a Broadway show for them. And we also have a spa treatment waiting for them at the hotel. So one-stop shopping platform offers a good opportunity to provide worry-less trip for our consumers. The second thing is excellent customer services. When we meet with our customers, they really enjoy our service. For example, when you call our call center, within 30 seconds, a live person will answer the call to help you solve any issues. When you run into a crisis, for example, Japan had a tsunami or Middle East might have a conflict, within 2 minutes, we need to reach out to the customers in that region. We need to move them to the safe hotel, offer hot meal, hot shower. The very next day, if they want to come back to their home country, we'll make prioritized arrangement for them. We do it for free. So that customer service level give our consumers peace in mind. That's also very important. The third one is app usage, because our customers use app quite a lot in Asia. So when we have our product on app, we do have advantage on app. And lastly, Asia has the majority of the population. So using the strong scalability, we're able to build a very scalable business model. So these are the unique characteristics we have.
How do you use data to predict consumer behavior? And what I mean by that is, do you just respond to what it is that people seem to want? Do you predict what people want? And I guess you gave a bit of that in your answer, saying that this profile of traveler may also want these things. But how do you sort of think about consumer trends in terms of more exotic, adventurous travel? How does travel evolve? So, if someone today who may only travel within, say, Northeast Asia, how do you predict that they may one day be interested in going to Africa on a safari?
Mm. So we have a feature called similar customer, or customer who have similar travel habits, where else they have been and what other hotels they like. So that gives other customers very relevant reference point, because if their spending power is similar, if they have same age kids, and if they had a wonderful time there, normally those are good products to recommend. And recently, we noticed in our platform, there are new trends, which we called 3 E's. The first E is events plus travel. Young people like to go to watch Taylor Swift shows. So we always package a deal after these major shows and major events. The second E is elderly friendly. So for our retired people in Asia, their retirement age can be quite young, and these people have money, are ready to travel, and are very energetic. So we talk to our destination teams, and we want to bring these retired travelers to the destination during slow season. So our hotel partners really like it, because during slow season, occupancy rate is quite low, and we're able to bring these customers who have very affluent buying power to these destinations during the slow season. The third E is emerging market. So we have noticed in the winter, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa are the top 3 travel destinations. And South Africa is quite far from Asia, yet there are people traveling there. In the summer, Iceland, Norway become very popular. So we are working very hard for these long tail travel destinations to promote them, so that we can help certain popular travel destinations to address over tourism issues.
I guess this is a bit of an obvious question, but how important is social media? A, how you use it, but B, more importantly, perhaps as a driver of customer decision making.
Mm. Yeah, social media is a very important channel to promote our products. Lots of young people like to use social media to let people know what's going on in their neighborhood or when they travel to. So we love to be more engaged in global social media to promote products for our destination partners around the world.
Social media can move very quickly, and clearly it's very influential, but you can pick up trends. You can see trends fizzling out. You can see trends strengthening. Do you use that as an input into your kind of predictive modeling of consumers?
We do, we do. Social media give us the first layer of the indication as to what is really hot this year or next year. However, our data goes in more depth, because we only allow customers who made a real booking to rank hotel, to rank travel destinations. So that's why consumers really highly respect the rankings that is submitted by our consumers, because only real travelers who have made payments and travel into these destinations can give their ranks. So it's a truthful ranks, which is paying lots of attention by the travelers around the world.
I guess we have to talk about AI. How do you think about it? And it's such a broad set of capabilities, but clearly the role of agent AI, agentic AI, is going to be very important for a business like yours. So, how do you see an AI world unfolding for you?
Mm. Yeah, we invest heavily in AI, and I think AI will enable our team to increase the efficiency. So there are 4 areas which we already have seen great results. The first one is the user interface. In the past, when you want to find a hotel, you need to put in lots of query. For example, 5-star hotel with children, pets friendly, need a swimming pool. You put it in and the search engine will work on it. Now you can have a very intelligent conversation with your agent. I can tell them where you are based on my travel habit, make a recommendation. So the agent will make a very good recommendation for you. The second one is the coding time by engineers can be reduced. I was talking to our engineering team. I think the productivity for coding can increase more than 50 to 100% year over year. So we're very excited for that. The third one is customer service level can be enhanced because of AI enable our service team to make the right decision to recommend the right hotel, right park, right travel products to the consumers. The satisfaction rate by our consumers will be enhanced. And lastly is the content can be generated more efficiently. So if you want to make an audio, a video, a picture, using AI, we'll be able to generate these content more efficiently. So we're very excited for the AI development.
Do you think it could change who owns the relationship with the customer? Does it change any dynamic there? Do you think that it will still, for lots of general purpose inquiries, maybe you have a third party agent, but actually a specialized, high, more knowledge intense kind of decision making, that the agent will belong to the provider? What I mean by that is if you're going on a site like Amazon for something general, it's probably the best place to go. But for highly specialized, knowledge intensive products or services, you still need a specialist. Do you think that will be true for travel?
We are the Amazon in the travel industry. So if anybody in travel industry, we have the best chance to make sure AI agent from our side is the most efficient one in the whole market.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'd like to just pivot a bit now and talk more about you, actually. Talk about how CEO for quite a considerable time, you've driven your company in terms of growth, in terms of impact, in terms of valuation. How do you think about your leadership style today, and how does it differ from when you became CEO, which is almost a decade ago now? So, how do you think you've evolved as a leader, and how much of that was intentional, and how much of that was learning as you were doing?
Mm. Yeah, as a leader in the travel industry, I always feel I'm very blessed for the opportunity. I started as the CFO of the company and gradually I grew into a COO because I was already working on the operations. And after a couple of years, I was leading our team to negotiate deals around the world. So our board promoted me to be the co-president of the company. And then after a couple of years of being the president, again, I was blessed for the opportunity to step up to lead our wonderful team as the CEO. Throughout the past 20 years, we always remember our principle, which is customer first, partner second, and Trip.com the third. So we have been through so many ups and downs during SARS. Many company laid off employees, but we told our employees that after SARS, Trip.com will become stronger. And sure enough, we led IPO in NASDAQ after SARS. And then Asian financial crisis hit us, global financial crisis hit us, and then COVID was the worst because it's very long, 3 years. So during COVID, if you remember, the border all closed down and our customers already paid airlines and hotels lots of money. But when the border closed down, airlines and hotels do not know what's going on the ground. So our customers demand a refund. So we haven't got the refund back from airlines and hotels. Yet our customers were very anxious to get the money back. So we had a call with the executive team members. Within 5 minutes, we made a decision that during this critical time, Trip.com need to lead the industry to take good care of our customers. So cumulatively, we borrowed about 20 billion from our banks to advance the refunds to our customers. So now business is back. Our travelers really remembered what we did during this difficult time and they come back to us. The second principle we have is partner the second. So during COVID, our partner was running very short of cash. We established a 2 billion partnership fund to help small and medium-sized partners with their cash flow. And now business is back. Our partners remembered what we did for them during the critical time. So they support us by listing all their products on our platform. And the third one is Trip.com, the third. And I remember during COVID, our revenue dropped down to zero almost. Yet we had 40,000 employees, and every employee has a family behind them. So it was very difficult and challenging during that time. So our chairman and I volunteered to our board that we will take zero salary until industry recovered. And our VP immediately volunteered to take 50% cut to make sure our company stay open. And our employee echoed with us. They work 5 days and took 4-day pay or 3-day pay. So it's this spirit that during difficult time, we work as one team to weather the storm together, which enable us to preserve very limited resources and preserve our ability to survive and retain our talents. So when industry came back, we're able to have the best talents in the industry to lead the recovery in the travel industry. For that, I'm very proud for our team. So during difficult time, our principle that customer first, partner second, Trip.com the third, really enable us to weather the storm.
Those are clearly brave decisions at a very traumatic time. When it comes to decision making, some CEOs are quite instinctive, some are quite very data driven, some take their time, some move very quickly. Where do you sort of fit on that spectrum? Are you a very data driven, considered, deliberate thinker, or are you quite, as you've grown in the role, are you quite sort of quick and quite instinctive in how you make decisions?
Mm. During work, I'm very data driven because my background is in finance and the law. So internally, we have a formula which we called 55443. 3 years means that your performance is at the market level. 1 and 2 means your performance is below the market level. And 4 is above the market level. And 5 is way ahead of any players in the market. So the 2 elements we assign value 5s are service and branding. Why that's important? Because if you build a service level like Four Seasons or Singapore Airlines, it's very difficult for another player to catch up with you. So if you ask our consumers, why do you use Trip.com? Everyone will tell you excellent of services. So we talked about service level at 30 seconds to answer the call by a live staff. And 2 minutes, we need to reach out to the customers if they're running into crisis. So that service level enable us to win a very strong brand. The most expensive tour we sold cost about 200,000 USD per person per trip, 80 days around the world. And guess how long did it take us to sell these packages?
Pretty quick.
Take a guess how quick it is.
A week?
Very good guess. Lots of investors told me half a year because it's a huge amount of the money. It only took us 17 seconds to sell these packages.
Wow.
Yeah, how many brands you would trust by giving them 200,000 USD within 17 seconds?
Very, very,
There
very,
is
very
few,
few.
right? Yeah. So that's why service and branding are very important for us. We value them at 5. The other 2 elements we value at 4 are technology and product. Every year, we invest heavily in technology and product. We have 10,000 engineers. They work very hard to do that. But once your product is released, everybody will see it, everybody will copy it. So you just need to invest heavily to stay ahead. But the barrier of entry is not as high as service and branding. And the last one is pricing. We, the largest player in our market, we can get very good pricing structure for our consumers, but we never brand ourselves as the lowest leader in the market. Because if you start to do that, you become attracting very price sensitive customers in the market. That's not the position we want to be. So 55443 is how we guide our resources when we make our investment. And it's a very rational decision when we have formed our strategy. What are the most important projects we want to stick with? Very clearly highlighted in this formula. So from that angle, I'm a very rational, data-driven leader. But outside of work, I try to be very good friends, very good supporter for our employees. So I'm the only one female CEO in a major high-tech industry here. And I feel tremendous responsibility to pave the way for our female employees. So we adopted very good and progressive policies. For example, when our women employees are pregnant, we offer free taxi to bring them to work and take them home. When our employee give birth to the baby, we give them 10,000 per year consecutively for 5 years. And we commit 1 billion to do that. And I also saw lots of women employees who get their PhDs and master's degrees are very talented. But after they get their degree, they're already at the age of 27 or 28 years old. And their doctors will tell them after 35, their pregnancy will be considered as high risk pregnancy. So we're only giving them 7 to 8 years to build a career, have family, and have children. Compared to male employees have much longer career paths. So we were thinking how we can better support these highly talented women employees. And we come up with a policy that if they want to use high technology to have their eggs frozen, we'll pay for it. And as a result, more than 50% of the workforce are women. More than 40% of the workforce are middle managers, and more than 1/3 of the workforce are women executives. And for that number, we feel very proud. But we still have a long way to go. I think we still can make improvements going forward.
That's very impressive, and I think also quite unusual. Did you feel it was, obviously you felt it was a kind of risk worth taking. Was there much resistance when you set out really what are quite progressive policies, I think, versus any company globally, but I imagine also regionally?
Yeah, we do. When we first had this egg freezing policy, I had to stand in front of the media to defend our policy because no matter how good your intentions are, people will challenge you. And I didn't want to argue with anybody. So I told them it's an option. If you like it, you can take it. If you don't like it, you don't have to take it. But giving women more option is always better than giving them no option. So I think there is much has been done, much yet to be done.
Yeah. Do you spend a lot of time reflecting on decisions, or do you make a decision then move on?
Of course, we consistently improve on the decision-making process. I think in the past, lots of commercial head lead our team forward, but now more and more young people become the team leaders. So internally, we have baby tiger programs. We enable our young people to become the project leader and lead forward. So yeah, every day I think about decision we make and try to improve it going forward.
How do you think about balance? We were talking before we came on air about how much you run. You did a marathon on the weekend. It's very impressive. And also from doing our research, apparently you really don't sleep very much at all, which is even more impressive given all the things you do when you're awake. But do you personally think about work-life balance? Do you just view work so stimulating as it's a meaningless, I guess, delineation? And how do you think about work-life balance within your company?
Mm. I think being a working mother, we really need to be prepared to invest twice as much as the average person. But the good thing is you always get harvest twice as much as the average person. And I think being a mother can be a full-time job. Being a CEO can be more than a full-time job. So the way I organize my day, if I'm not traveling, when my kids were still at home, is that I go to work very early, between 6 to 7 o'clock. I'm already in my office, and I try to get all my email return, all my own thing finished before I start my day with my one-on-one. And once our employee came in, the meetings are very packed, half an hour one-on-one with our customers, or with our partners, with our community leaders. And by 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, I will pack up all my work paper. When my kids were young, I tried to help them with their homework after dinner. And when they're older, I try to, work side by side with them. And then when the kids went to sleep, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the evening, NASDAQ opens, Europe still is in session. So most of my overseas call is late in the evening. So that's how I balance my work and life if I'm not traveling. If I'm traveling, I told our team we promote a concept of 2 days. So we try to encourage our employees to spend 2 quality days on the weekend with their families. So every day, 2 hours with your family. Every week, you spend 2 days of quality time with your family. And also 2 years. That is for our women employees. I think it's very important to support them during the year when they are pregnant, and also during the year when they give birth to their babies. So in our company, 2 hours, 2 days, 2 years are very important for women employees to support them during their critical time.
That's, as I said, that's very impressive, and I suspect that wouldn't have happened without you. So what I'm hearing is that you find work so stimulating that you don't really worry about how many hours you're putting in. Maybe we could end with one sort of question. Where's the best place you've traveled to that perhaps surprised you? Where would you think about the world, you're a well-traveled person, obviously. What is your favorite kind of travel experience? Where really surprised you?
Mm. I took my family to South Pole during the New Year. It was fascinating. It's so far away. When you're at the pole, every direction you're looking at is towards north. So that's very fascinating for me.
Jane, thank you. That's really good. Thank you very much. You're a true pro, and it's lovely to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of SuiteTalk. If you found this discussion inspiring and informative, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us bring you more engaging content and connect with top business leaders. Follow us on social media and visit our website for more episodes and content. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep leading. This is Hugo Scott Hall, signing off from SuiteTalk.
This content is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended as investment advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any security or to adopt any investment strategy. Investment advice and recommendations can be provided only after careful consideration of investors' objectives, guidelines, and restrictions. As of the date of this recording, William Blair Investment Management held positions in the company referenced in one or more of its investment strategies. References to specific companies are for illustrative purposes only and should not be construed as investment advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any security. The securities identified and described do not represent all of the securities purchased, sold, or recommended for client accounts. It should not be assumed that any investment in the companies referenced was or will be profitable. The views and opinions expressed are those of the speakers as of the date of this recording and are subject to change without notice as economic and market conditions dictate. It may not reflect the views and opinions of other investment teams within William Blair Investment Management. Factual information has been obtained from sources we believe to be reliable, but its accuracy, completeness, or interpretation cannot be guaranteed. Any discussion of particular topics is not meant to be comprehensive and may be subject to change. This material may include forecasts, estimates, outlooks, projections, and other forward-looking statements. Due to a variety of factors, actual events may differ significantly from those presented. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Any investment or strategy mentioned herein may be not suitable for every investor.